round 2 of Hawaii Star.
Fellow Damien grads, I need your support.
Round number 2. Come on, Maui. Let's do this.
Big Island, I'm gonna make you proud.
Pick the next Hawaii Star.
Sunday night on Fox 2.
Starting August 8th, Fox is moving Wanda to a new night. And she'd like to thank the network executives who made it all possible.
Loser, loser, loser.
Don't mess with Wanda. Fridays at 8:30 starting August 8th on Fox.
In the headlines, President Bush will send U.S. troops off the coast of Liberia after more than a dozen people are killed in neighborhoods around the U.S. Embassy.
I wanted to let him know that he was loved.
Family and friends of a 10-year-old girl and a police officer killed in Wednesday's fatal collision mourned their deaths. And rescuers continue a 4th day of searching for a missing 19-year-old hiker.
Good morning. This is the Channel 2 Morning News with Kirk Matthews and Tanya Boyd, Hawaii's #1 morning news.
Good morning and welcome to the Channel 2 Morning News. Tanya is off this morning. We thank you for joining us on this Aloha Friday, the 25th of July. Topping our news this morning, President Bush has told the Pentagon to deploy an appropriate number of U.S. troops off the coast of Liberia. This after heavy shelling in the nation's capital killed at least a dozen people today. It's the heaviest burst of artillery fire since Monday. Men, women, and children were killed in neighborhoods near the U.S. Embassy where refugees are hemmed in. One shell landed inside the embassy compound but did not cause any damage. More than 100 people are reportedly injured. Government forces blame the attack on rebels who are trying to overthrow President Charles Taylor. U.S. military morticians did some work to partially restore the faces on bodies identified as the 2 sons of Saddam Hussein. Journalists in Iraq were taken to view the corpses today. Military experts say each corpse had more than 20 bullet wounds. The U.S. military is trying to offer clear proof the Hussein brothers were killed in a firefight with U.S. troops this week. Many Iraqis remain skeptical. At 7:32, we want to let you know what's happening with traffic on this Friday morning. It's very light, and Jason Yotsuda has details. Jason?
It is very light, and it looks like we are finally backed up beyond the Middle Street merge right now. It's backed onto Moanalua Freeway, but as you can see, it's nowhere near Fort Shafter, but it is starting to stack up and remains heavy into town till people pass this Liliha Street on-ramp, and then kind of opens up. So that's going Cocoa headbound. Everbound, of course, backed up past that old Waialae Road overpass, and that releases after the Luna Lilo on-ramp. A little bit heavy here near the Punahou overpass area. And our Pali Highway traffic looking pretty good, as well as Liki Liki, just some wet roads and no stalls or accidents. From KSSK Radio, I'm Jason Yotsuda. Kirk, back to you.
Thanks, Jason. Still on the traffic front, city officials have pulled 16 of the newest articulated buses off the road this morning because of a defect uncovered by a fire earlier this month. This was the scene 2 weeks ago. A raging fire on an extended cab bus caused extensive damage. Maintenance crews found a hydraulic leak in the vehicle's fan drive motor. The articulated buses will return to service after repairs are finished. The investigation continues this morning into the deadly crash that killed 2 people on Farrington Highway. Friends of the 10-year-old girl and police officer who died are mourning their deaths. Esther Espinda made her way to the spot where her close friend, Officer Ryan Goto, was pulled from burning brush and debris. Espinda said that she has known Goto since they were teens.
He loved doing what he did, no matter how dangerous it was. I told him how dangerous it was, and he said that's who he was, and he loved doing it.
Espinda says, as a friend, Goto was always there for her, and she will never forget him. The 10-year-old girl who died in Wednesday's fatal collision has been identified as Alicia Williams. Yesterday would have been her first day back at Maili Elementary School. School officials say Alicia was an active student involved in the Junior Police Officer Program and the Girl Scouts. All those who knew her say she was a confident young girl who will be remembered as a ray of sunshine in their lives.
If she wasn't smiling, something seriously was wrong, because she had a smile on her face from the minute she walked through the door.
Alicia and her mother, Karen, were headed to Pearl Ridge to get portraits taken when that crash occurred. Karen and 2 police officers remain at Queens Medical Center. Rescuers have resumed searching for a 19-year-old missing hiker for a fourth straight day this morning after an important clue was discovered yesterday. About 35 firefighters and volunteers searched for Daniel Levy yesterday by air and on foot. They concentrated their search between Mount Olympus and Ka'au Crater after they discovered a footprint along the trail Wednesday.
There was a footprint that was picked up yesterday. That footprint, though, is not positively identified as Daniel's footprint. In general, it's the same size as him. It's in an area that indicated that person may have slipped, and so we're going to be looking around that area even more.
Dogs also picked up a human scent at about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon on the eastern side of Ka'au Crater. Firefighters suspended the search at 6:30 last night. It's 7:35, and Trini Kaupuiki has news on Kauai front, as a matter of fact, this morning. Trini?
That's right, Kirk. On the Garden Isle, firefighters will attempt to recover the last of the 5 bodies this morning at the site of Wednesday's helicopter crash. But that rescue could be hampered again because of the weather. 4 bodies were recovered yesterday, but efforts were called off early because of weather conditions. The helicopter went down at about 9 Wednesday morning on Mount Waialeale. The pilot, Mark Lundgren, and 4 passengers died in the crash. An investigator with the National Transportation Safety Board will begin to examine the wreckage once it is brought off the mountain. Now, the reason we're expecting some wet weather on the Garden Isle today is a low pressure system has developed northwest of the island. Now, this system is expected to bring some showers to Kauai today and through the weekend. In the meantime, the Big Island can also expect some wet weather today and over the weekend, thanks to remnants of Tropical Depression Felicia. It is moving closer to the Big Island as we speak. So both of those ends, the northern and southern end of the state, can expect the heaviest rainfall over the weekend. The rest of the island chain, though, can also expect some wet weather because, as I've been mentioning over the last couple of days, our winds will be light over the weekend. And when our winds are light, we can also expect some afternoon clouds and showers. So the heaviest rainfall is expected to affect Kauai and the Big Island. The rest of the island chain can mainly see afternoon clouds and showers. Now, because of the threat for showers over the southern end of the state, a flash flood watch is in effect for the Big Island. This means that conditions are favorable for heavy rainfall and flash flooding. The advisory will be posted until 4 o'clock today. Now, right now in Honolulu, we do have a good amount of sunshine. Temperature outside 80 degrees, relative humidity 79%. Winds right now blowing from the northeast at 7 miles per hour. Now, the trades will stick around today. We're expecting 10 to 20 mile per hour trades with mostly cloudy skies and scattered showers. But by tonight, our winds will start shifting, blowing from a more easterly direction at 5 to 15 miles per hour. And starting tomorrow, our winds will shift even more to a southeasterly direction at 5 to 15 miles per hour. And as I'm sure many of you know, when our winds are blowing from a more southerly, southeasterly direction, we've got humid weather, and that's exactly what we can expect this weekend. Some cloud showers and high humidity.
Not necessarily downpour, just shower activity.
We may see some downpour for the southern end of the state, the Big Island, but here on Oahu and also Maui County, just some afternoon showers.
All right. So folks should be prepared when they go to the outdoor events. They got the big ukulele festival at the bandstand and so forth.
That's right. Lots going on this weekend.
All right. So take your umbrellas and your ponchos. Be ready for that.
Yeah.
We will chat with Howard Dicus when we come back. We are also going to talk a little bit more about the Korean War end ceremonies coming up this weekend. A lot of events there. Stay with us. More to come. It's 7:40. Some important decisions have been made about the future of Hawaii tourism marketing, including who's going to be doing that. Howard Dicus joins us live from Pacific Business News. And we're talking about an important meeting of the Hawaii Tourism Authority, the state agency.
Right. The Tourism Authority supervises the Visitors and Convention Bureau, whose only client is the Tourism Authority. In a 3-hour meeting yesterday, HVCB conducted votes on how much business to strip away from HVCB and award to other contractors. And though they made no official announcement yet, the word in the tourism community is that basically international marketing is going to go to not one but several outside contractors, leaving the Bureau to do domestic marketing. Bottom line, there'll be multiple people responsible instead of one organization answering questions about this from now on.
It's kind of interesting that while all of this brouhaha is going on, the numbers are actually up.
Yeah, the numbers are actually really good. Last week's hotel occupancy above 80%, really full hotels across the state. Japanese arrivals improving, and the Japan Travel Bureau says its bookings for the rest of this month and next are up a lot.
We look at that as an encouraging sign. Another encouraging sign, another hotel is settled with Local 5, the hotel workers.
That's the Marriott in Waikiki, 550 workers affected by that.
And you have a development in the collapse of the local insurance company, PGMA.
Right. Peter Wong, who ran it while someone was running it into the ground, has been indicted by a federal grand jury on more than a dozen counts of lying about it. No response from him. He's not in the islands anymore. He's moved to California.
And finally, you're headed to Maui for week 2 of the Jazz Festival.
That's right. The Friday and Saturday concerts this week are over on Maui, and I'm just looking forward to seeing how bad traffic has gotten since the last time I was there.
I would say, take your book along, because you may need to read it at all the traffic jams over there.
Well, I love the way Maui looks, and I'm really looking forward to going.
That'll be a pleasant trip for you. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
Okay.
Thanks, Howard. It's 7:42. President Bush is honoring the heroes who served in the Korean War. He paid an early morning visit today to the Korean War Veterans Memorial in Washington. Sunday, of course, the 50th anniversary of the armistice that ended direct combat on the Korean Peninsula. President Bush said the memorial is a reminder of the sacrifices being made for freedom.
There's a very profound statement here at this moving memorial. It says freedom is not free. And today we honor those, this weekend we honor those who served in the cause of freedom in the Korean War.
Of course, the Korean War ended with the armistice, not a peace treaty, leaving the Koreas divided and technically in a state of war. This weekend marks the anniversary of the truce, and joining us this morning is Bob Talmadge, veteran of the Korean War, to talk about how the events this weekend will help remember that. What's your most powerful memory of the time that you spent there on the peninsula?
Probably the Incheon landing and the battle at the Chosin Reservoir up in North Korea in November, December of 1950.
One of the battles written quite a bit about.
Yes, and they use that battle as in all the war colleges now because of the way it was fought. The other United Nations forces on the western part of Korea and the northern part of the peninsula went to directly up to the Yalu River as fast as they could. Those were the orders that they received from the higher headquarters in Japan. They didn't stockpile supplies, and when they got hit by the Chinese, they had nothing to fall back on. Our commanding general, Major General Oliver P. Smith, refused to do that. He was for the old school, and he would not move forward until he had base camps established. And so we had a base camp at the base of the hill, up at the 4,000-foot level at the Chosin Reservoir Plateau. They had another base camp at Hagaru-ri at the base of the reservoir. They had another camp, and they were going to establish one out at Udam-ni, which is as far northwest as our troops got.
And as we've learned in other conflicts since then, supply lines are as important as the front lines.
Which the North Koreans found out, because we went into the Pusan perimeter. We had a Marine brigade, and we joined in with the Army units in holding back the North Koreans. Then we left the brigade to join the Marine division for the landing at Incheon. And once we hit at Incheon and struck across and captured Seoul, that broke the back of the North Korean supply line. They had no way to get supplies back and forth, and of course the troops that were further south just shriveled up on the vine.
Totally left on their own. Thousands of lives lost, thousands more served, and this weekend, of course, will be an opportunity for all of us to remember those who were lost and to recognize those who served, and you'll have some events going on. Tell us a bit about what's planned this weekend.
Well, this evening we're having a luau out at the Disabled American Veterans Building on Nimitz Highway out near Ke'ehi Lagoon. And tomorrow morning we're going to have a parade down in Waikiki from Fort Garusi down to Kapiolani Park. In the evening we're going to have a candlelight vigil at the Korean War Memorial in downtown Honolulu. And then on Sunday morning, we're having a memorial service up at Punch Bowl Cemetery. And Sunday evening, we're having a salute to the Korean War veterans at the Waikiki Shell. So we have 5 different major events this weekend. And this is the real, probably the last hurrah for the Korean War veterans. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but at the current time, World War II and Korean War veterans are dying at the rate of 1,800 a day. Every day, 1,800 veterans are passing away. And their history and the knowledge that they had is passing with them. So while we're here, we do our best to educate people. Our particular group and the other Korean War veterans groups go out into the community. We go out into the community and to the Marine Corps base, and we try to talk to the young Marines and let them know what it was like out there in 1950. In fact, currently I have our unit has a display over at the Marine Exchange at Kaneohe. Right in the main entrance, we have a display of all photographs of the 5 major events that the Marines operated at: Busan Perimeter, Incheon, Seoul, Chosin Reservoir, and Central Korea.
Don't stop that education process. It's very important for
Well,
us
we've
all
given
to
classes at the Hawaii Pacific University. We've given them to the Army National Guard here.
All right, Bob. Thanks very much for that and for all of your service. We appreciate your being here this morning to share with us, and let us know what's coming up this weekend.
Well, thank you very much for having us here.
Appreciate it. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up, have a final song from the Aloha Friday Music Group. Stay with us.
Make a lovely life.
Folks are invited to enjoy the sweet sounds of the ukulele this weekend as hundreds of performers pay tribute to the 4-stringed instrument. Manolo joins us from Waikiki with more on that. Manolo?
That's right. Big day Sunday, Kirk, and you know, in addition to the professional players, there's lots of the students. The young ones are just as much the stars of this. I'm going to introduce you to a couple of them. We have Kelly and Brielle over here. We have Kelly, who is 8 years old, and Brielle is 46. But you know, it's how old are you, Brielle?
6.
Oh, 6. I'm sorry. 6 years old. Now, what school do you guys go to?
Hawaii Baptist Academy.
Are you guys just copying each other? You both go to that school?
Yes.
Yes. What grades are you going to be in?
Third. Second.
Third and second. Okay. Now, do you take ukulele lessons together?
No.
No. Okay. Now, do you guys? All right. You're going to be performing up on stage. I know you played in last year's festival. Do you guys get nervous?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Okay. I guess you guys. They're old pros at this festival. Okay, they're going to do another song for us here. It's Wipeout? Is that what it's called? Yeah. I can't hear. What is it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
This is that point in the program where I'm supposed to say something very intelligent, but right now I'm just smiling. These youngsters getting ready for the big performance at the Ukulele Festival down at the Shell this weekend. Oh my goodness. Complete with choreography. We'll be back to wrap things up. We have a final tune from Weldon Keikauoha and Tapa Groove when we come back. Well, that will do it for us on this Friday for the week. I hope you have a good weekend. We have Monday, author Stephen Chernisky will be here to tell us how to stay younger longer. It involves plastic surgery. No, it involves vitamins and things like that.
We're also going to have the winners of Sunday's Hawaii Stars in the house, so looking forward to that.
And until then, we hope you take care of each other and enjoy a final tune right now from Weldon Keikauoha and Tapa Groove.
Have a great weekend.
So slow. This ain't a racing, no. Going fast is not my style. I can go the extra mile 'cause I'm in love with you. And it's so easy to do. Lord have mercy, 'cause I'm in love with you. I love you, girl, and it's so easy to do. Now we're strolling along and our toes are in the sand, and the moon and stars they shine because you're mine. Yeah, yeah. And the stars are twinkling way up in the sky so brightly. Let's make a wish here tonight. Starlight, star bright. Yeah, yeah. He said take it slow. So slow. This ain't a race, you know. Going fast is not my style. I can go the extra mile 'cause I'm in love with you. And it's so easy to do. Don't have mercy, 'cause I'm in love with you. And it's so easy to do. Let's take our time, take it real slow now. Baby, you are mine. I'll be yours forever. Baby, can you see? Baby, come show me you. Baby, you and me.
Closed captioning is provided as a community service by 7-Eleven Hawaii.